Okay, everybody, I'll give you a quick update on the greenhouse. It is 7 March, and I'm going to show you what's growing on in here. We'll start with the towers. I've got lettuces here of the 3 different kinds I mentioned before, and if these 2 bigger ones that were transplants is any indication, this is going to work pretty good. They're going to be pretty thick. I might have to thin them out. I'm not sure yet. I have thinned them down to 2 each, and the stronger one of those 2 are going to get thinned to 1 pretty soon. My strawberries are coming along pretty amazingly great. As you can see here, they're even starting to flower. I need to cut all these flowers off until they establish, and they're doing it on many of the plants. I don't think I had one failure in these strawberry plants. And also, just for a quick note, you'll see that some of them popped out, and they always say you got to bury it at the crown, you got to bury it at the crown. Well, these are the roots, and the roots are in there, and the crown's a good bit away from any soil, and they still come back. I've come to the conclusion that strawberry plants are pretty dang hardy. Okay, right next to are my onions. I recently did a vertical update on the onions. And that's what they look like. They've gotten their second leaf grown out from the original, and they're starting to come on pretty good. I'm enjoying that right now. Some people have mentioned, what are you going to do when the bulb gets really heavy and and it gets big around on the outside and it gets heavy and it just falls off? Well, what I thought about doing was attaching a piece of tomato twine from here when it gets really big before it starts bulbing, when the leaves are pretty big, and attaching it to the structure up there. That's just an option, and that's only if it falls. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Strawberries doing good. We've got brassicas here. This is the broccoli Pac-Man F2 seed I saved. And one of the things I do, which it's kind of hard to do with one hand, is I turn it like this ever so often just to get some varying light degrees from different sides. So that's a good thing about this. Now here's the pak choi. It's doing pretty amazing, as you can see. So far so good, and I'm enjoying that. In between the pak choi, I've got some spinaches growing, and all I need them to do is try to find some light and put out some leaves, and I'll chow down on those. So I wanted to fill the spot because the pak choi is planted every other hole, which means it's planted 8 inches. This is my second fawn platform, and this is actually the most complete. I've got some vertical towers still to put in here, but it's got the 2 sides on either side with some top watering here. I've got some cabbages that are coming along really nicely here, some various brassicas of different kinds, like 3 different types of cabbages. I've got some turnip greens, I've got some butter crunch lettuce that's doing real well there. I got some spinach. I just keep taking leaves off, taking off, cut and come, whatever you want to call that. Just get it, eat it up. I got one cabbage here that's starting to head up. On this one, I planted some small head cabbages every 12 inches. So you'll see every hole is 4 inches, and they're starting to sprout. And the other ones, I planted beans. It's probably too cold right now for beans to come out, but it's pretty warm in here. So we'll see if that comes out. My thoughts are that I can make a bean tower. So this is a test trial of that for now. You've seen my vertical potatoes, gotten a lot of comments on that. The mother plant up there, the main plant up there is doing real well. The others are starting to come along, and I've got 4 pots of potatoes growing up there. and I am going to do another potato tower with a little bit different approach. I'll tell you about that, but I'll give you a hint. It's using the stem cuttings. I got some onions. These are candy onions from last year. I'm going to put those outside and let them go to seed, and hopefully pollinators will be out by then. They can cross-pollinate those, and I've got 2 buckets of those, and so I'm going to try to save some candy onion seed. Got some cabbages. I tied this one just to see if it'd encourage a quicker head. Some more spinach. Here's some bok choy or pak choy growing in a bucket normally. I got some broccoli here. It's doing something kind of weird there. I don't know what that's doing, but we'll follow that and see what happens. More cabbages over here. These are the small Gonzalez cabbages, and I got 4 in each pot, and they're pretty dense. Some Chinese cabbage. They're starting to head up pretty nicely here. Scotch blue kale, looking real nice. Some broccoli in the middle that I've topped off already, and they're starting to put out side shoots. 2 different types of beets. I have not thinned them out. I'm just going to see what happens with those. And also, for those of you who don't know that, you can eat beet leaves, and they're pretty good. They're really good in salad. I got some more butter crunch. This is the main one I've been pulling off for salads. I've taken all my cauliflower except for this one. Or maybe one more. Here's a stem now. I don't think cauliflower come back. They don't put out shoots. That's what I've always read, but we'll see. Got some celery there. More spinach. Got the Gonzalez cabbages there. Some Chinese cabbages here that are heading up really nicely. These are those Koraki type broccoli. I've called it Koraki, but they're doing kind of something weird. They're little flowerets are elongated, but they're still not flowering, so it's doing some weird stuff here. Those 3 are completely different than all the others. Taking the heads back here, but they're side shoots out, so we get little pieces of that for salads or whatever. I've got a New England sugar pie pumpkin there that is oranging up, and that's for seed, saving for seed. I've got plans for a cross with that, and that's why I'm growing it for seed. The tomato wrapping, it's doing really wonderfully well. The cherry tomatoes for sure taste good. the Mosfetch are a little bland, so I'm going to bricks test those, and we're going to do a little bit more trialing. But I have to tell you, there are tons of freaking tomatoes on these things. The corn over there, I hope it matures before too long, and I hope that produces something. Most of the other squashes I've pulled out except for a couple. One there and one there. And there's no males, so none of the females are getting pollinated. So I've been taking these off, and we've been just eating them in soups and salads. All my transplants are getting really huge. My peppers and eggplants and tomatoes, they need to go in buckets as soon as they can. The beans that I cut off here and here are coming back wonderfully. I don't know at some point if you can take several harvests and then cut back, and if they'll continue to come back, but we're going to test that theory a little later. My peas are starting to flower. I don't know, they've grown all the way to the top. They've fallen. I've tied them, and they're growing back towards the top again, and they're finally putting out blooms. So I'll have some peas soon. I put some in buckets. I removed them all, but evidently I missed one. So those peas are already at the very top, which that's kind of cool. I've got some consecutives going here. I got some corn that are starting to get a little bigger here. I got some over here that are a little further along than that. The same thing with beans. I've got some here and here, and I don't think this one's getting enough water. It must not be touching the water because they're a little stunted. But the ones in the middle there are doing great, and the ones over here, there's 4 in this one, and they're beaning up big time. I got lots of small beans in here, and they're before too much longer. As you can see there, I'm going to be getting some beans off of those. So right now I kind of like, for beans, I like the 1 pot with 4 to 5 in each 12-inch pot. I've forgotten about these. I'll go ahead and tell you about these. These are my squash. This is the one I'm breeding, and it if you look back, I compared it to early prolific, and this is one of those, and I'm getting some males on those. I didn't see that, but I've been working on something else today. Got a couple males there, and they seem to be doing really good. I got a second one over here, but I don't see any squash on it. Really, I'm gonna get these outside, and I'll work on getting F3s and F4s. Actually, these are F3s, and I'll be going for F4s in the spring garden. This is another breeding, a sort of sister line to the one I just showed you, and it's pretty neat. I'm gonna probably look into, it's a semi-viner. I'm gonna look into potentially naming that something like Lemon or something if it pans out. For those that haven't been following along since the beginning, I'll rehash this real quick. These are 555-gallon drums, and I have them plumbed together underneath here, and they have all the nutrient mix into it that I mixed and put them up there. That's 250 gallons roughly. What I've been doing is mixing the nutrient in here with this attached to a drill, and I mix a master blend, the calcinate, calcium nitrate, and magnesium sulfate, otherwise known as Epsom salt, in here in 3 different parts, and then I pump it from this barrel using this up to the top of the storage barrels. Then I fill the rest with tap water. My tap water ppm is about 45 or so. It's pretty pure, and it also off gases before it drains down into the nutrient tank. Now from the storage tank, I have a 1/4-inch drip tube that it flows down, and when it gets to a certain point, this valve cuts it off. But you'll see here when it's pushed down, it brings fresh nutrient into this reservoir tank. And this is the nutrient reservoir tank, and I've got it where it pumps out of the pump here and goes up to the delivery line here. And if you'll look at the PVC watering system one, you can see kind of how all of the plants are supplied nutrient. But coming back to here, this pump actuates right now 3 times a day for 4 minutes, and I use that timer right there, and that's how I do it. So I've got a air pump right here that supplies 2 of these air stones, and I keep it constantly aerated, and that's where fawn comes from. Flowing, aerated, wicking nutrient. And wicking, I know flowing, that's a hydroponic term, but wicking, flowing means that the hydroponic fluid flows through the entire system. Wicking means that when these plants sit in the gutter, they can take nutrient up when the water is not coming down from the PVC watering system, and also at the same time the roots can go into the gutters and fill the gutters with, and it has nutrient in them. So so you got flowing, because someone asked about that. What does fawn mean? Aerated means that it has the air stones in it. It's constantly aerated. Plus, when it goes through the system here, it bubbles, and the spurting of fluid all over the place just keeps it oxygenated. So the wicking we already talked about. Some of the platforms, they have like this here, they have no top-down watering whatsoever, and they do real well. It's sort of like Larry Hall's rain gutter grow system, in the sense that the reservoirs are in gutters, but in Larry Hall's method, I don't think he uses any. I'm quite certain in the beginning, since I've been paying attention to him anyway, he doesn't put nutrient in the gutters. And at last I saw that he discouraged letting the roots go into the gutter, and that's absolutely opposite to what I am. I think they thrive once they get into the gutters. So the last thing is nutrient. Nutrient means any water soluble that is pumped through the system. So fawn, yeah, it's stupid acronym. Fawn sounds cute and cuddly, but that's what I've nicknamed it, and answers the question. So this is kind of what it looks like. I got a lot of stuff growing and a little bit of space, and I'm really liking the vertical aspects of it all, and I'm going to continue to build on that platform there. It'll have all 10 tubes there, and then I'm going to convert this one, and then when it gets warm enough and I put everything out in the outside garden, I'm going to take these 3 here and convert those into the same thing. That should give me enough time to see if these are viable, growing vertically are viable, something that's worth doing. But I can tell you that when you can use a square foot of space here and all the space going up into the greenhouse, like when you string tomatoes up, it's a whole lot more production possibility. So I'm really liking it. Guys, that's it for this greenhouse update. This is Brent signing off, and I appreciate you guys watching.